This is the Blue Man Group. This is the Blue Man Group. This is the Blue Man Group.
This is the Blue Man Group.
This is the Blue Man Group. This is the Blue Man Group.
This is the Blue Man Group.
This is the Blue Man Group. This is the Blue Man Group. This is the Blue Man Group.
This is the Blue Man Group.
This is the Blue Man Group.
Well, hello there, everybody. My name is Ron Ecstasy, and this is Blue Men Group, the podcast with my friends and co-hosts, John Beedron and Devin Welsh.
Hey, wow. Hey. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so there's things going on where it's called history, and
yeah.
It's happening every day, and I just want to go straight to it, please.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to This Week in History.
2001. One-time energy giant Enron files for Chapter 11 protection in one of the largest corporate bankruptcies in U.S. history.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. Enough said.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
But
the case speaks for itself.
What do we know about Enron? Let's think about this.
I thought Enron was a computer software program because the logo looked like Windows.
It's a good logo.
Good looking logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the crime.
Too good of a logo. Well, I
They were
remember
yeah.
when it went under, they auctioned off all of the objects that were inside the Enron and outside Enron offices, and I do remember that the logo, I think, was the high that physical sculpture of the logo outside,
Right.
sold for much.
I wonder where the Enron logo is right now. Probably in someone's basement somewhere. Collecting dust.
Definitely not in jail. We don't prosecute those things.
No, absolutely not. The logo got away completely.
Corporate logo
unscathed.
sculpture complicit in the crimes?
I would think
you could
so.
argue that. I mean, one of the key reasons they were able to commit so much fraud is because they had such a good logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And
it was deceptive. It
there
was
were
willfully deceptive.
Yeah, exactly.
many architects into their scheme. So yeah, Enron was a power company, I believe, energy, right? Were they?
Yeah, but then they got up to all kinds of dirty tricks, right?
Dirty
Dirty
tricks.
There was that documentary that people love, Smartest Guys in the Room. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
If you look up clips of that, there's these phone calls, internal phone calls for Enron employees saying some bad thing. They're shutting off old ladies' power. That's what they kept on saying.
I remember they were laughing as they talked about old grannies getting their power shut off because the grid had been they privatized, or there was a different way that
Artificially, they
inflated
decided there were going to be
prices.
blackouts or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
rolling
Like they were in
blackouts.
control of blackouts. That
Yeah.
must have been so, you must have had a real itchy collar if you're sitting there as an executive at Enron in the courtroom. They start playing that phone call. You're just like, oh, God. This
that
isn't
wasn't
gonna play
me.
well. Yeah.
That was not me.
Some of the top people got away without much of a charge at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the main guy in Enron, I think
Stealing?
he was in a bunker and he took cyanide.
What?
I think so. Yeah. Him
or he's
and
in
his whole
Argentina now.
family.
Is that
yeah,
Hitler?
Right.
Yeah.
It was a
second.
strange parallel with Hitler's story. The
Yeah.
CEO of Enron basically did exactly the same thing. He had a bunker under the Enron building. They came in. The federal agents were sort of like the Red Army.
He had
And
his wife
as-
legally change her name to Eva Braun.
Yeah, he had all of the child workers of Enron kind of storm the federal agents in a sort of last ditch attempt. All other older males were already killed by that point. I mean,
Right.
one thing they don't talk about a lot is that
The Enron personal army.
the Enron was a massacre. When they stormed the compound.
Yeah, and so again, this was an energy company, correct? That had this massacre.
They were. I mean, I think they expanded into a number of different businesses by the time that we got to that point. But in any case, it was a heroic conclusion, I think, to not give up, not go into the custody alive, to go down fighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's
Very-
why we remember Enron as well.
Very powerful company. So thank you very
Ron-
much, energy
Enron.
guru Enron Ecstasy. Thank you very much, power gurus of no power anymore, Enron. All right, everybody, let's move into the beef and potatoes of the show. What's in the news?
Is there any gravy? Any gravy on those meat and potatoes, Ron?
Yeah, there's a lot of gravy going
It's actually
on.
most gravy this meal.
Most of it is gravy. It's soupy. It's a bit of a meat smoothie, we like to call it. Dev, it looks like you got a bit of a story over there, but I can't even see it. It's kind of smoky.
I'm over here at the cannabis desk. Ooh, it's a great desk. But I've got a sad story for all of
How
the
great is it?
marijuana enthusiasts
Yeah.
out there. How great is it? It's so great. I don't have a punchline for it, but the
He
story.
can't see straight. Yeah.
That's right. U.S. Customs officials have seized nearly 4,000 bongs at D.C. airport.
Oh, my God.
Damn.
So there will be a bong shortage in the D.C. area for the next few months.
Yeah.
Sit tight. U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials seized a shipment of almost 4,000 bongs at Washington Dulles International Airport, the agency said. The $56,000 shipment arrived from China on October 2nd, manifested as, quote, gravity pipes, the CBP said in a release Wednesday.
These damn supply chain issues are just affecting every asset of this country.
Yeah.
So it seems as if the person who wrote the article was partaking of the marijuana. That sentence, manifested as gravity pipes.
Well,
I
I
don't really
think-
understand it.
I think what that means is that the manifest, like the declaration
Oh,
of what
of
was
course.
on the plane.
Flight manifest.
That's
they were
right.
like, yeah, so what's in this box? And they wrote gravity pipes.
And then somebody
aviation
saw
speak.
that and said gravity pipes.
Yeah, and they're like,
I don't know what that is. CBP import specialists confirmed that the glass bongs violated U.S. laws on the importation of drug paraphernalia, the release said. The bongs were headed to an address in Los Angeles County, California.
damn.
Could we have
So,
guessed it would be
yeah.
any other place?
How about
I think,
freaking Magic Johnson's house?
Who's this?
Yeah.
Who's the
that wouldn't be
CBP import specialist who confirms that their glass bongs
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
violate? Like, what about them violates?
Let me see your credentials. Let me
Yeah,
see
how do
are
they
you really
know?
an expert?
And
Yeah, what do
have to
they know?
confirm that it can successfully be used to smoke marijuana? Because if it doesn't work as a bong, then maybe it's not really a bong. But if it does work, then it is a bong. So somebody must have to.
Somebody
smoke-
has to figure that
take
out,
at least
right?
one bong hit off of one of these
At
bongs.
work.
Well,
Yeah.
it could be, sculptures. I mean, just
Yeah, they could be
pretty
vases.
glass vases.
They could be vases. They could
Anything that
be.
you can use to smoke marijuana is technically, or legally speaking, a bong.
I've
So-
heard people do it
so
out
apples,
of apples. Exactly.
Soda cans,
Could you believe this? Have you ever heard of such things?
such a thing.
So
Well-
the article goes on to say CBP officers screen international passengers and cargo for, quote, illicit narcotics, unreported currency, weapons, counterfeit consumer goods, prohibited agriculture, and other illicit products that could potentially harm the American public, U.S. businesses, and our nation's safety and vitality, the release said.
Vitality.
What is
So
it?
then
Because
I
we're going to
think-
be lazy.
I think the nation's vitality is the part that's at risk with these marijuana devices.
Yeah, is that what that? Yeah, they put it at the end. Also, maybe because it starts with a V.
I
But
want you to get off the couch. Last month, CBP officers in Pharr, Texas, spelled Pharr, seized more than $960,000 worth of cocaine weighing almost 125 pounds that was hidden in a tractor trailer coming from Mexico, according to CBP. So CBP is giving us all of the good info on what they've been up to lately with all of these drug
Yeah,
busts.
they're humble bragging.
Yeah, but they've been
Humble
very busy
shrug.
apparently. And in last week's release, the CBP. So this article is now going on to
It's just a list.
Just
the CBP's accomplishments. The CBP
greatest
also,
hits.
They seized $23,000 in currency from a couple on a flight bound for Ghana. The couple reported having just $10,000 500.
Oh,
So
that does seem
CBP
like an
is doing
odd
that
number.
thing where you talk to like a kid who's a Boy Scout and he starts pointing at his merit badges. He's like, and I got this one for doing this, and I got this one for seizing a couple who are going to Ghana.
Yeah, exactly. This one for showing up for breakfast. And then, okay, so it seems here in this article that they're getting you in with the glass bong story, right? They said that there's $56,000 worth of, or what? 4,000 bongs, $56,000 shipment. Excuse me. That's $14 a bong, by the way.
yeah, that's a
pretty
good
good deal.
price.
Not included.
That's
Well,
wholesale price.
yeah, that's wholesale, right? So, again, somebody has to figure out what makes it a bong. I think it might be the valve thing that goes inside. That doesn't help if you're trying to make it seem like it's not cannabis. So I've heard.
Well, if you, dear listener, if you find this story to be a little, seems like an encroachment on your liberties, I encourage you to, you know that thing where like you do a crime on purpose so that way you can take it to the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know all.
everyone-
Yeah, oh yeah, know all about it.
So let's all log on to Alibaba and search for gravity pipes. And it looks like you can do a maximum order of this one, the Hello World Shisha Glass Nargile Portable Cups
How's it look?
Bong. It's made of glass and metal.
Oh,
This will
yeah.
work fine. And then let's see what's the maximum number you can order. If you get more than 5,000 pieces, they're 20 per. So it'll be a little more expensive, but you
All
could
right,
probably
we'll-
get some people to
we'll figure
donate to your
something
legal
out.
fund.
This is patriotic, though. This could be like a mass movement type of thing where millions of people order thousands
Yeah.
of bongs each.
Just
and we
completely
flood.
inundating
Yeah.
the Dulles Airport in Washington.
Yeah, there's one CBP import specialist looking at every single piece of glass that comes through. I'm a glass specialist, they say, and named Philip Glass, perhaps. And then they just look through every box, and then if they're inundated with orders from this
it'll get
website
backed up.
that John keeps talking about, there's going to be shortages of CBP import specialists.
Well, so
True.
Philip Glass will be doing double, triple shifts. He'll be running on low sleep, low food. He'll be like,
Yeah.
he'll
So
start to go
stressed.
crazy, and then he'll lose his mind. He'll have a mental breakdown.
You're like, I can't sleep at night. I
then-
need...
And then the warehouse is going to be filling up with these imports that they can't get through, and it's just going to be bursting at the seams with
Yeah.
glass bongs. And then the people will rally around the outside of it and say, "Tear down this wall!" And
Yeah,
then
yeah, exactly.
finally the CBP will have to stand down. The bongs will be released across America, and we will have our liberty back.
Yeah, and glass. Lots of glass we could use. And that's the thing. You know, the people are like, yeah, don't stack them. Don't stack them. You can't be stacking boxes filled with glass. So it's gonna overwhelm the system, and then you will be allowed to import somewhere over 4,000 bongs if you wish into the United States of America. Thank you very much, Devin, for that report.
Yeah, stirring stuff.
You might want to put that
Now, yeah.
thing down,
Devin,
though. You've been
Devin
ripping
looks a
that.
little lost at the cannabis desk.
Yeah, you've been
Guys,
ripping
we're
that.
having so much fun out here. I just
You've been ripping that thing the whole story. All right, listen, guys, I got my own little desk over here. Why don't you fly on down to my
Okay.
desk?
where are we headed? What direction should we
Yeah.
fly in?
Well, just towards my desk, and then
Well, let's spin the globe.
Could you give
though.
me
Where-
that in latitude?
oh, okay. You want me to spin the globe? So we haven't
wanna
brought the
spin the
globe
globe.
out in a while. All right, here we go. There's tons of dust on it. It's got
Yeah,
all
you
in
haven't
my
touched
nose.
it in months.
I know. All right. So we are now in Dayton, Ohio. All right. Have
Okay.
you ever been here? Is this your first time?
Smack dab in the middle of the United States, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's
Somewhere
that's
in that middle area.
exactly. I've got a headline here, and by the way, this is from Fox News, America's most trusted source. Dayton panel okays bid to demolish Wright Brothers' original bike shop.
Oh my, this is a terrible story. This is a case of the erasure of history.
Yeah, and some sort of eminent domain, it seems. I'm no lawyer, but it says the building constructed in 1892 was the Wright Brothers' first bike shop. So let's talk about the Wright Brothers. You may know them through this podcast as the Wright Lovers. They were, yes, brothers, but also very much a pair, okay? And they made bicycles before they made their finest invention, the aeroplane, okay? They did their little tiny flight at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina in like 1902 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. But they
Almost-
didn't invent the bicycle, did they?
No, Devin. No, they did not. That was Paul Huffy.
But see, this is how great things are. This is how great things are invented. Is they pick up the bicycle. It's already been made. They don't have to think about it.
Yep.
Right.
But then they build on the idea of the bicycle. What if this went this direction, up instead of
Up.
across the land?
So
Yeah.
exactly. So John, Devin, I imagine you've been on a plane before, an airplane. Have you potentially flown somewhere? But obviously, it just started from, as we said, this bike shop. And
Humble beginnings.
the Dayton Board of Zoning Appeals has approved the city's request to demolish a 129-year-old historic building that once was the site of the Wright Brothers' first bike shop. As that's the headline again. The city wants to tear down the site because the building is deteriorated to a point where it can no longer be maintained and redeveloped, the Dayton Daily News has reported. Public safety concerns have also been raised by some who fear the building could collapse.
I think this is one of those things where the building is so old that it's allowed to exist under the zoning laws of the time.
Yeah.
So it's there's no nails in the building, which was code in 1892.
Wooden pipes.
Yeah. Wooden pipes, exactly. Gas, just in the ceiling, just kept up in the attic.
Yeah.
Their supply of gas for their lanterns.
Every person that walks through the doors of this building has to put a corset on. And no matter what.
It's also a grain silo inside.
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is, why is somebody worried that it could collapse? Is that person secretly living in the dilapidated store?
Now,
Because
wait a
I don't understand who else could be at risk of such a collapse.
Do you think it's
True.
the Wright Brothers ghosts? The Wright
Perhaps.
Brothers past? Okay.
Perhaps.
Well, while agreeing that most of the building should be demolished, the Dayton Landmarks Commission rejected the demolition request in September. I was at that meeting. The panel instead recommended that the city re-advertise the property and encourage its renovation in a way that preserves the historical facade.
What do they mean most of the building should be demolished?
Yeah, I don't really get it.
99% of it.
They
leave
just want to
one
keep up
brick.
the front. Yeah.
Yeah.
The front, it's just one
And
front
put a
door.
plaque on it. Yeah.
There's not even a frame that it's in. It's just a
And
door.
then the rest of it will be like a Starbucks Target.
Hey, cool. That's great, John. I like that idea. That's
Yeah,
smart.
why not?
Okay, so preservation groups have also opposed the city's plan. So everyone's against this plan that the city is trying to hatch. Whoever the mayor of Dayton is, I would like to know their name. Is all.
Yeah, I'm
That's what
angry.
I'm. They argue that keeping the building's facade and incorporating it into a redevelopment project would make the project eligible for historic tax credits. Okay, this is extremely boring article about the Wright Lovers, but
Inside Dayton redevelopment politics.
Basically, here's what happens when you do a great thing and everybody remembers you and celebrates you. Is
Exactly.
that for generations after your death, after your greatness is over, there's just going to be tons of people squabbling about you and all of the old dilapidated buildings that you used to live in.
Yeah.
And it's going to go on for generations.
Yeah.
So just let that be a word of warning before you try to invent the airplane or anything like
Yeah,
that.
and maybe if you're on an invention streak with your brother, who you may or may not be in love with, maybe also devote a little time to some handyman projects
Little
around
upkeep.
around the shop. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Screw
do
that
some
door hinge back in.
renovations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as easy. I mean, you have all the tools already there. You spend so much time on that bike chain. Why don't you spend a little time with the door hinge, as we said?
By the time they even left the building, it was just like there were no doors on it anymore. There was just junk everywhere. They're not even using the toilet. They just go in the corners. Because they're so committed to building bikes and then airplanes that they don't have time to work on the house or anything.
And they're also disgusting.
Or observe sanitary conditions.
They're also disgusting.
Personal hygiene or
that's one of the unknown things about the Wright brothers, that they were extremely unhygienic. There was no toilet in this bike shop. Yeah. It was disgusting.
Well, no one can smell you when you're in the air.
Not to take us back to toiletry.
That was the original intention behind the airplane. Was like, okay, if we were able to fly up above people, we could go to the bathroom, and then no one would know where it came from.
Right, on their heads, which is why you still see those stories every year about people being impaled with urine icicles. Because that's the true legacy of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the Wright brothers. I mean, they have a sordid history, and it's one of those weird things in history where you invent the plane, but then that kind of erases every other thing about you. And those things are like they shit in the corner. They needed to be up in the air in order to shit and piss on people.
Well, they wanted to be like their heroes, pigeons.
Yeah, that's
which shit on everyone's heads.
That is so true. They're a big bird in the sky is all they wanted to be. Those Wright brothers. They actually had the mind of a 4-year-old. Both of them together, two
combined.
Each. So that's listen. There's a bunch of other random shit in this Fox News article. It's like walking through a swamp reading this thing. Tons of terrible comments and like Wright brothers, they were blah blah blah. Okay, so
people are fired up on the Fox News website comment section about this story.
Yeah, stay away if you can. I think there's some airplane updates over at your desk, John.
Hey, why don't you scoot over? Why don't I also join you at the plane desk?
Yeah, let me
come. Yeah, it's like when two people play the piano at the same time. Let me on the bench.
I don't know if I can take off my seatbelt. The light's still on.
Oh yeah, I'm not allowed to be moving around. Oh, right in the shin. Sorry, the refreshment cart just banged me. Well, now that I'm over here at the airplane desk as well, why don't we go ahead and look at this story from veritable website news.com.au.
Mm-hmm.
It's where everyone in Australia gets
a trusted source.
A very trusted source. Passenger claims woman breastfed cat on board flight.
Oh, come on.
A passenger allegedly made a desperate plea to flight crew after spotting a person engaging in a gross act with her pet cat.
She stormed the cockpit to tell them, be like, excuse me, there's a lady breastfeeding the cat.
Yeah, sorry. I'm already on the side of this woman who breastfed her cat. Look, I don't agree with what she did.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Mind your own business on the plane.
Walk us through it. Walk us through it.
No, so this story is for all the cat lovers out there.
John's a cat lover. That's why
I am a cat lover.
I selected John to read this story.
Most pet owners will go to great lengths to care for their pets. When it comes to people and their pets, the question often isn't what you do for them, but what you wouldn't do. For one American airline passenger, the latter doesn't seem to include breastfeeding. Screenshot has gone viral of what looks like a pilot messaging system that suggests a passenger on Delta Air Flight DL 1360 to Atlanta began breastfeeding her cat and refused to stop, despite repeated requests from the crew.
Wow, so they name the flight. They name and shame the exact flight number to Atlanta. So presumably this person is now in Atlanta somewhere.
Yeah, we could actually track their whereabouts if we really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Passenger in seat 13A is breastfeeding a cat and will not put cat back in its carrier when flight attendant requested, reads the ACRS memo. 13A, is that aisle? That's an aisle seat, right? Or is that window?
That's a window seat.
Window.
Okay. Yeah.
So
somebody-
breastfeeding with a view.
yeah, true. Maybe the cat's afraid of heights, as often cats are. If you ever put one on your shoulder,
Yeah.
sometimes you feel like you need to calm it down,
Then
maybe with
yeah.
whatever you have on hand.
Then send
Why
it
was
up
it-
to 35,000 feet. And
I've never seen a cat on board an airplane before in general.
yeah, why is a cat on a
yeah.
plane?
Let
All right,
alone
well.
a cat breastfeeding.
Yeah. Well, you see plenty of cats being breastfed on the ground.
Oh,
But
yeah.
what you don't see is you don't see them in the window seat. Often people will take them to the bathroom on the plane to do that.
That's one of the most expensive places to breastfeed a cat.
That's true. The pilot requested Delta's Red Coat ground team meet the customer after landing to reprimand her. So apparently Delta is a 300-year-old company. They have red coats as their personal security force.
Yeah.
The red coats are coming.
Yeah.
This
According
is
to
like
an
yeah.
No, go ahead.
the private security enforcement team of Delta. I didn't know about the red coats. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
we're
the brand
diving
shirts
into.
or something.
Yeah, exactly. According to an online source, the carrier was contacted for comment to confirm whether the incident took place. Delta has tightened regulations regarding, here we go, Devin, emotional support animals over the last few years after experiencing an 84% increase in incidents.
Incidents.
Which
Breastfeeding.
They don't say if it's breastfeeding incidents, but
But
they're having a lot
presumably
more problems with the animals.
Some number of those incidents was also a breastfeeding incident.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. However, unlike this case, it is usually the animal acting up. So there we go. News.com.au is going ahead and saying that the animal was perfectly well behaved.
Yeah.
It was receiving the milk graciously,
Yeah.
but not causing a disturbance. Again, it was this extremely distressed passenger who was refusing to mind their own business. Passengers are still allowed to bring their small dogs and cats in the cabin, but they must stay in a kennel under the seat in front for the entire flight, which is not a fun place to be.
No.
The phrase emotionally supportive has been interpreted broadly over the years, and in a statement, Delta said they had seen comfort turkeys, gliding possums known as sugar gliders, snakes, spiders, and more taken on planes.
Comfort turkeys.
I love
One of the
that.
more famous flyers was Daniel the emotional support duck, who accompanied a 37-year-old woman with PTSD on a flight in 2016.
Oh,
So the
that's
article
sweet.
ends there, does not state whether or not Daniel needed to be calmed with
Breast
a
milk.
turn at the breast. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a photo of Daniel, the emotional support duck. Daniel has shoes on.
Daniel
That's-
is wearing shoes.
And a diaper, I believe. That is very cute. Look that up if you get a chance. But yeah,
So
so
what do we think, boys?
well, the phrase emotionally supportive, as you said, has been interpreted broadly. I've always considered that just to mean breastfeeding.
I was going to say, I mean, you're up, 35,000 feet or whatever. Maybe there's a little turbulence. Maybe the engine is making a weird sound you haven't heard before. And you need to calm yourself down. So what do you want more than anything? It's to have, a 2-year-old cat suckling at your breast with its claws out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, and my
no.
take on it is that, it comes down to whether something is a disturbance on the airplane or not. Whether
True.
something is going to be an impediment to the smooth functioning of the flight,
Right.
the safety of the passengers and crew, and it sounds like in this case it was a very peaceful situation.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
don't think it needed to be disturbed or have attention called to it. I think you just turn away, you watch your in-flight movie, whatever you got to do.
Right.
But yeah,
I agree. And you know what? Cats, if you stare at them in the eye, they take that as hostility. So clearly, this
Yeah.
person was trying to start something. Probably trying to go viral.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think this is, if anything, I know that when stuff like this, hits the courts, there's going to be recommendations that the maybe the judge makes, and if anything, if I could get the ear of that judge, I would just like to say that all flights, hey, FAA, whoever's in charge of the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, we need to start putting a little bowl of milk
Cream. Yeah.
or cream right in the galley right when you walk into the plane.
Absolutely. I mean,
And-
just get ahead of this problem before it even starts.
Right. And I'm not against the breastfeeding. That's not, come on, don't paint me as that, Devin. So I just think we should have a little saucer of milk for kitties on planes.
Hey, you know what? No rats on the plane,
Nope.
unless that was an emotionally support rat, in which case it probably didn't last the whole flight.
It's going to turn into Noah's Ark, I think. It's going to be very busy up in the sky in the coming years, months, potentially days. But thank you very much, John, for that report.
Well, and hey, speaking of the oncoming deluges which threaten to dim the human species' future,
Yeah.
Yes.
I have another article over here. World's first living robots can now reproduce, scientists say.
That's not good.
Oh,
I don't think that's
yeah.
good. That seems
think-
like that's happening today, this week.
Updated 4 p.m. Eastern, Monday, November 29th, 2021.
Holy shit, that's
so
recent.
isn't this the moment that we've all feared?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This seems like it should be way bigger news.
Yeah.
Well, let's dig into it. Let's go beneath the surface of this headline here.
Maybe
and
things
see.
aren't what they quite seem, but we'll dig in and we'll take a look at this potentially, epoch-changing
Yeah.
development in human history,
Yeah.
and perhaps the last defining moment of human history
Yeah. Perhaps this is our last real piece of human news.
before
Yeah,
we
so-
all get on the ark.
Please, the arc in the sky. Yeah, please take us through this, John.
Sure. Yeah. As penance for missing last week, I'm doing 2 stories this week.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. The U.S. scientists who created the first living robots say the life forms known as Xenobots can now reproduce, and in a way not seen in plants and animals.
In a good way or a bad way?
They are not
So-
saying.
Well, okay, there's another buried lead here. The U.S. scientists who created the first living robots?
Right, yeah, exactly. I had no idea that this was already happening. They're like, they invented the first living robots on, Wednesday the week before.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then
This
it's
is
like updated story Monday. They can reproduce now.
This is a very fluid situation. It's like,
Yeah.
The U.S.
updated
scientists
Tuesday,
who
they've got
created
us by the balls.
the U.S. scientists who created the first living robots left a harried, scrawled note in their lab and are nowhere to be seen. But the robots are now reproducing.
Yeah.
Formed from the stem cells of the African clawed frog, so these things have claws, from which it takes its name, Xenobots are less than 1 millimeter wide. Oh, thank God.
Tiny.
Okay. Can they be
The tiny-
crushed?
I don't know. Let's find out. The tiny blobs were first unveiled in 2020 after experiments showed that they could move, work together in groups, and self-heal. So to answer your question, Devin, they could be squashed possibly, but it
They're-
doesn't seem like it'll do anything to them.
They're better.
And perhaps make them angry.
It seems like
Right.
they're better than me. They can move. They can work together in groups and self heal.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
Like
know.
two
They're
out of those
operating
three.
at like a 9th grade level.
Yeah, two out of those 3 things I've been working on for a long time and have
Right.
yet to work out. Yet these things have done it overnight.
So, yeah, we're breaking like a very undercovered story here, which is that there are now living robots and they are reproducing by themselves.
Autonomously. In a way
Autonomously.
that's unseen in the animal or plant kingdoms.
Oh god.
Okay.
So, and they work together and heal themselves. So now the scientists that developed them at the University of Vermont, Tufts University, and Harvard University's Weiss Institute for Biologically Inspired Engineering. What a name. So they have discovered an entirely new form of biological reproduction different from any animal or plant known to science. I was astounded by it, said Michael Levin. He said over the phone, not disclosing his whereabouts, a professor of biology and director of the Allen Discovery Center at Tufts University, who co-led the new research. Frogs
Okay.
have a way... go ahead.
I just want to say, in the movie Terminator 2, the T-1000 character can perfectly imitate the voice of...
That is so true.
what is his name? John
Simon.
Connor's
Little kids.
mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we don't know whether Michael Levin is the person speaking on the phone in this interview or whether it's the robots. They've multiplied, they're superhuman, super smart, and
Yeah,
We're
and
done.
they've recently self-healed.
absolutely.
And
And of
they're
course,
ready
the
to
first
talk.
person they would want to assassinate is the CNN journalist who's trying to break this story.
Yeah, so we need to watch our backs. But
And
Yeah.
so these are these are little tiny. They have the insides. I know that they're like less than 1 millimeter, but they have the makeup of a frog.
They're
They
based
have-
on a frog, inspired by a frog.
Yeah.
Inspired, yeah.
They also seem to be inspired by another animal from popular consciousness, from cinema, xenomorphs.
Oh, that's
Because
right.
these Xenobots are a new life form that seems to be radically superior than anything that's come before.
Mm-hmm.
And completely unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I believe, James Cameron associated.
Wow.
Because he did Aliens. Frogs have a way of reproducing that they normally use, but when you liberate the cells from the rest of the embryo... See, again, this makes me think that the Xenobots are talking here.
Yeah.
In terms of liberating the cells from the embryo.
They work
Yeah.
together.
They feel like this is like their, dawn of their civilization.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
speaking the language of emancipation here.
You give them a chance to figure out how to be in a new environment. Not only do they figure out a new way to move, but they also figure out, apparently, a new way to reproduce. Okay, what
They
is the
fuck
new way?
anywhere. They're everywhere. They're like, this is perfect for us. And then they go
The
to a new
Xenobots-
spot. Oh my God, I love it.
The
They're-
Xenobots resemble their creator in that they think they invented the kind of sex they're good at.
Yeah. Okay. So it says stem cells are unspecialized cells that have the ability to develop into different cell types. To make the Xenobots, the researchers scraped living stem cells from frog embryos and left them to incubate. There's no manipulation of genes involved, so it's very
Right.
fresh,
Very
Yeah.
organic.
very organic.
Organic robots.
Yeah, so most people think of robots as made of metals and ceramics. I've never thought about ceramics with robots, but it's not so much what a robot is made from, but what it does, which is an act of its own on behalf of people, said Josh Bongard, a computer
Josh
science
Bong.
Bongard.
Okay, we needed a Bongard at the delegate.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There it is.
So a computer science professor and robotics expert at the University of Vermont, fish, and lead author of the study. In a way, it's a robot, but it's also clearly an organism made from genetically unmodified frog cell.
So
So
I don't buy it.
It's not a robot.
It's
Yeah.
it's an
It's an animal.
It's a
So-
cell.
Yeah, it's not a robot at all.
But it is.
In a way, it is.
In
At
a
the
way, it
same
is
time.
because they built it piece by piece, but with
Right.
organic.
organic materials.
But
Perhaps
they're-
this is like we're just
The T1000.
we're just idiotic human beings that can't grasp what we're
The
what
nuance
we're witnessing
here.
what we're
Yeah.
on the cusp of here.
Yeah.
The beginning of a we think it's a robot, but not quite. It's a frog, but it's a robot. But actually, it's something altogether different.
Yeah.
And we don't have the words for it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody uses a super big word that you're kind of unfamiliar with, and they're like, "Oh, I think I'm using a different definition than you." It's like we're just doing that for robots. Like these people are
Right.
using a skewed version of the word robot that we are unfamiliar with.
Okay,
Yeah.
but here we've got a. I'm going to keep going with
Please,
this. Bongard
please.
said they found the Xenobots, which were initially sphere-shaped and made from around 3,000 cells, could replicate, but it happened regularly and only in specific circumstances. The right mood, the right lighting.
mood, yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
the
right music.
vibe, like what's
Yeah.
the vibe?
Yeah.
The Xenobots used, quote, kinetic replication, a process that is known to occur at the molecular level, but has never been observed before at the scale of whole cells or organisms, Bongard said.
I've seen it.
With the help of artificial intelligence, here we go, the researchers then tested billions of body shapes to make the Xenobots more effective at this type of replication. So they kind of beef them up with artificial intelligence to make them way more into having sex, reproducing.
Yeah. I want to see them fuck, said Bongard.
Yeah, Bongard used AI to make them hornier than ever. The supercomputer came up with a C shape that resembled Pac-Man, the 1980s video game. They found it was able to find tiny stem cells in a petri dish, gather hundreds of them inside its mouth, again like Pac-Man, and a few days later, the bundle of cells became new Xenobots.
Okay, so this is not Terminator. This is Stephen King's The Langoliers, which are flying mouths that devour the world's reality around you and replicate themselves.
There,
Do you ever
there
see
you
that?
have it. No.
It also seems like Pac-Man. Is eating.
It seems like Pac-Man gone awry, like a kind of Pac-Man, but he jumped through the
loose
screen.
Pac-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
horny.
yeah.
as
That's
hell.
what
Into our
Langoliers
reality.
is, basically.
So the AI didn't program these machines in the way we usually think about writing code. It shaped and sculpted and came up with this Pac-Man shape. So
You
on
could
its
say
own.
the AI expressed itself through the genetic material that it had at its hand.
It's just like, I
Yeah.
love Pac-Man. I'm such a
Even-
Pac-Man.
Even the artificial intelligence now already, artificial intelligence has only been around for a very short period of time, but it's already struggling with the anxiety of influence.
Yeah.
It can't come up with its own original ideas.
It's like, is Pac-Man the most optimal shape or not? Am I copying the
Yeah.
1980s video game, or is this
Is my
really
fate-
the perfect shape?
yeah, do I retread, with kind of like different subtler hints of irony, the traditions of my people?
Right.
So the shape is, in essence, the program. The shape influences how the Xenobots behave to amplify this incredibly surprising process. So it's very early technology. Think of a 1940s computer and don't yet have any practical applications. However, the combination of molecular biology and artificial intelligence could potentially be used in a host of tasks in the body and the environment, according to researchers. So they want to put these in our bodies to play
This may include things like
Pac-Man
collecting
inside of us.
microplastics in the oceans, inspecting root systems, and regenerative medicine. So yeah, these are the nanobots.
It
we
never
were
is
promised.
those things, though.
These were the.
Hey,
these
you know
are
what I'm
the
talking
nano-
about? All these articles, they're like, we figured out, we're going to
Yeah.
use mushrooms to do this thing where we like heal the planet in a extremely like, Adbusters type way, and then it's always something else.
Yeah, and then
And it's always the development of like new drugs.
It turns into like Uber or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're just gonna give you like kind of cheap cab rides for a while.
Well, the prospect
yeah,
of self-replicating biotech could spark concern. The researchers
Yes.
said that the living machines were entirely contained in a lab and easily extinguished, so they have the kill switch at the ready.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy who's standing in the lab, and he's got his hand hovering over the kill switch, which is just a bunch of submachine guns pointed at the lab.
Yeah. And they, but it says as they are biodegradable and regulated by ethics experts. So there are brilliant minds working on this problem, whether to kill them, whether to keep them alive, how
Yeah.
much freedom to give them.
Okay. And then in the next paragraph, I'm vindicated. The research was partially funded by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, a federal agency that oversees the development of technology for military use.
Okay, so we've
So-
got a DARPA project on our hands here.
Yeah.
This is
So these are either going to be used for repairing tree root systems, or
Or there's
or
gonna
it'll be
be
used for turning your brain into a tree root looking
Yeah.
or turning you into a robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's quite the report, John.
Thank you.
And so there was word in the group chat that you were at the research lab as they were doing that. Give us an idea of the atmosphere.
Yeah,
Okay.
John,
Well, it was
we
a
heard-
pretty. Go
we
ahead.
heard that they used the Xenobots to make subtle changes to your brain, implanting you with a set of false memories and completely twisting your psychology around.
Yeah. So
Well,
what's
it's
it
interesting you
like?
say that because I don't remember anything before my visit to the DARPA lab where I witnessed the Pac-Man type machines in operation for the first time. And I'll give you a little, slice of life, a mood check on what it was like there. Okay, so it was sort of like a white tile, like subway tile ground. There was some old vintage sort of kitsch on the wall. There was a counter on the far end, and there was a man there selling pizza and sodas. And then
Yep.
there were these big rectangles with levers and buttons on them playing digital music. It
Oh,
sounded
wow.
like. Clearly, these were the supercomputers being used to crunch the whole process.
Yeah,
But I witnessed miniature scientists about the age of 13 to 17 all hovering around these machines, pulling the levers and depositing credentials, these round metal credentials, into the fronts of the computers as they manipulated these new Pac-Man-like organisms.
Nice.
Well,
It was pretty fun.
that sounds incredible, and I think we should inject
Ron.
you with more of those.
Ron, it sounds like the Xenobots did the job on John.
It sounds like
so we
it.
can report back to DARPA. That's an affirmative.
Yes, thank you very much, DARPA. And kind of John. No, John a lot. John did put his whole body on the line for this story, and we do
What?
appreciate that. So DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, excuse me. Thank you very much, John, for that science update. All right, everybody, that was What's in the News. Our next segment is a new segment we like to call The Big Brown of the Week.
Finally. I was waiting
Big
all week to
Brown.
find out what the big brown was this week.
Yeah, that's right. You lead the way because this is a wonderful event. Every time there's a big brown, it's a really, really fun time.
Yeah, so this is something that I didn't know about. Big Brown. It's a day in the American calendar that I didn't know existed until just recently. We've got a headline here from MLive. So plumbers are expecting Big Brown Friday following Thanksgiving feasts, increase in sewage. So the day after Thanksgiving is usually the busiest day of the year for plumbing and drain service providers, according to Roto-Rooter, one of the largest plumbing repair and sewer drain cleaning services in the United States. So you might be familiar with Black Friday, but there's a certain sector of the workforce prepping for something else, Brown Friday. And
They refer to it as Brown Friday.
Yeah, so there's several factors that contribute to this brown issue.
Yeah, there are stuffing, turkey, mashed potatoes.
Yeah, large
green bean
gatherings,
casserole,
meal
beer.
prep, kitchen
Beer.
cleanup, overload sinks, disposal, post-meal waste loads up in toilets and
pecan
sewers,
pie,
creating lots of work for plumbers. So this is a
bones,
huge
accidentally swallowing bones.
huge
So what
day
we're-
for plumbers.
What we're talking about here, just so that I'm not confused, we're talking about the feces. We're talking about people going number two.
No,
The day following Thanksgiving, they
I
digest
interpreted it
their
as the brown color of the turkey's skin as you roast it in the oven.
No.
Because I was thinking the next day after you eat this big Thanksgiving meal, you're full of food, you digest it, it gets processed into this kind of, depending on your consistency, but
Brown.
pasty or loose kind of solids. And so everywhere across America, people are just dumping poo into the toilet on Brown Friday, the day following Thanksgiving, clogging the toilets and making a hell of a job for the fine people over at Roto-Rooter who actually are sponsoring this episode
Yes.
this week.
Yes, thank you, Roto-Rooter.
Thank
and
you.
for all of the free those like
Snakes.
snake things.
Yeah, we're all the drain
we've been
snakes
playing
we
with
got.
them. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So some representative who I think we'll find out who he is later, I guess, says this extra strain on the plumbing system is like the proverbial last straw that breaks a camel's back.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
So wait, is he saying that this is it for our plumbing system?
We're fucked.
So
It's going to totally break.
this is one of those other macro level problems that we're hearing about these days. You know, we've got the supply chain issues, we've got the infrastructure that needs repairing, and this is a piece of that infrastructure where
Yes.
it acts kind of as, it's like the Port of Los Angeles, all of those cargo piled up, and then finally it all falls apart.
Yeah. So companies like Roto-Rooter have dubbed this day Brown Friday due to the amount of sewage and wastewater they deal with. So they see a 50% increase in call volume over an average Friday and a 21% uptick in business over any other 4-day weekend period. So that's quite remarkable. That's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, extra guests means more flushes, showers. Everybody's just flushing. They're
Flushing,
showering.
wiping.
They're so messy that they have to go shower afterwards.
People are pouring
Yeah.
the grease from the giblets down the sink.
Yeah.
Oh, I spilled the gravy all over my jacket.
Oh,
I'm gonna need to put it
go
in the
shower.
washing machine.
Let me flush it down the toilet.
Hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom first. So yeah, dishwashing, laundry greatly increases the chance of plumbing or drain failure. So to avoid plumbing and drain trouble over any weekend, we've got a few tips here that we've drawn up independently of Roto-Rooter.
Yeah.
And we've decided to enlighten you. Devin, would you please take the first tip?
Absolutely. Yeah, Roto-Rooter did not help with this
Not
at all.
at all.
We
Right.
did it ourselves,
True.
despite many requests. Anyway, never pour grease, turkey drippings, or cooking oil down drains. And, you could extend that to anything that resembles any of those things. They solidify in
Or
pipes
resembles
and
a
choke
drain.
drains.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't pour the grease down the drain. Throw it out the window. Throw it into your backyard, basically.
Yeah. Don't throw it at anyone, though. So, yeah, they solidify in the pipes and choke the drains. You don't want to be choking any drains.
Choking drains and servicemen who are down in the sewers at the time you drop them down.
So,
Whose
John,
job it is, while they're working on the drains, they have to take it apart, and one guy's job is to just eat whatever comes down the drain. So don't do that to him.
Yeah.
Stop. So, John, could you please take us through the next tip?
Yes, and again, just to reiterate, we are preserving our journalistic integrity by refusing to collaborate with Roto-Rooter on these tips.
Even though they sponsored
Absolutely.
today's podcast.
They sponsored the podcast, but we did not allow them into what I call it the ideas room,
Yeah.
where we can
Editorial and marketing, advertising, totally separate. We are
Separate.
independent. We do good journalism here.
Yeah. Tip number 2, don't put potato peels, poultry skins, bones, rice, or pasta down the garbage disposal.
Whoops.
What are you supposed to... Disposals can handle small quantities of scraps, but most food should go into the trash can or compost pile. So again, throw those things out your window into fields behind your house, like you will with the grease and the turkey drippings and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's
You want to have a nice little pile of just, grease,
garbage.
bones, garbage, grains, just
Poultry skins.
in your field by your house.
Yeah. Get yourself a field, too, if you don't have one. So, thank you. That was a good tip. Here's one for you. Make sure the disposal is running when you add food scraps.
Such a
okay?
good point. People forget this one a lot of the time.
Dumbass.
You own a disposal.
Yeah. You're going to put this motor in your sink, and you're going to just throw stuff down there when it's
Chance
not
that it'll
on?
turn on. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Come
got
on.
the thing installed, and now you don't even know how to use it? What's the matter with you?
come
Turn it
on.
on when you use it.
Let's go. Come on.
Okay, so...
Don't flush wet wipes down toilets. This is another tip
Yeah.
that we came up with independently.
Independently.
Roto-Rooter. Most won't dissolve and can clog pipes. So when you're wiping from that turkey dinner, I know it's a mess down there. You're gonna need to use a wet wipe.
Yeah.
but
Or a
once you
few.
have it all
It's
cleaned,
like-
or a few, yeah.
We know it's like field dressing a wounded soldier in World War I down there on Thanksgiving. But please try to, retain some of the supplies. Pretend it is World War I and you're low on rations.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it back in your pocket when you're done.
Use it again. Rinse it out. Yeah.
You're gonna need it later. Trust me. Like
Yeah,
a couple
you're-
hours later.
When you have like 3 of them in your hand, they look like a brown bandana, and you're just like, my God, how many do I need? Yeah, so don't flush those. They cause those something bergs. What are they called? The fat bergs, where they get
Greasebergs.
They get stuck in
Fatbergs, yeah.
in the whole system, and Roto-Rooter hates when they have to deal with that, and they complain
The fatberg.
they complain to me for some reason. I have to take on all of Roto-Rooter's like work complaints. I'm sick of it. Here's one. Place a plunger in guest bathrooms to save your guests the embarrassment of asking for one. So this seems like a bit of a projection that somebody
Okay.
had to, one of us.
I have
don't
to
know.
admit, I have to admit that I think this is a really important point, because I've been in that situation before, and it's a really terrible situation.
Can I
when
say
you-
something? I
Yeah,
also had experienced this at someone I was dating's house,
Mm.
Uh-huh.
and I had to ask their mom for the plunger.
Oh no!
How long had you been
And they
together?
were like, "What?" Like 6 months.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah.
It's
yeah,
over.
still in the danger zone.
That's
but
over.
yeah, so you have to ask
It
for the
certainly
plunger.
soured things.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe the plunger gets a little dirty
Ugh.
after you
Yeah.
use it.
Gross.
then
And you have to
what do
leave
do
it
with
there?
Yeah, because you have to hand it back. There's no holder for it in the bathroom because
See-
it's not in the bathroom to
because
begin
it's
with.
not where it lives.
That's interesting that both of you guys brought this up, because we talked about this in our ideas room meeting. When I have to ask for a plunger, I'm proud. I say to them, I go, look what I did.
Everyone come look.
Everybody come look. It's over. It's like Niagara Falls in your bathroom.
Well, you have to say
I keep
Brown
flushing
Friday.
it. It won't go
Brown,
down. Yeah.
yeah,
It's Brown Friday.
Brown Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to say that to your friends. So another thing is when you have guests over, get them all little. This is another tip, by the way. Get them all little plungers. So when they enter
Keychain
your
plungers.
house, everyone gets a plunger before they eat, before they do anything. You're
Wherever
just
they
like,
go.
Listen, I
And,
know,
you know-
it could happen, but you should have this.
Just hand out diapers too at the beginning of the meal.
True.
Hand out diapers, hand out plungers, and then
Wipes.
you're double covered. Yeah, wipes, everything.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure your guests are comfortable. Okay, so we have one last one.
Yeah, it's and then once more, all of these tips came up
Ours.
with us three independently of the Roto-Rooter Corporation, a
In the-
fantastic
in the ideas
business, one of the
Totally
America's
separate.
great, most iconic businesses. But call 1-800-ROTO-ROOTERS if you experience any plumbing issues on the holiday, as they are always standing by 24/7
Yep.
to assist you with any plumbing-related catastrophes.
Yep, and tell them the Blue Men Group sent you, and use promo code Blue Men Group. And if that doesn't
Yeah.
work, harass them on customer service and tell them.
Insist that you are not incorrect.
And if
that
they
there
say
is a promotion.
there is no such promotion and they've never heard of Blue Men Group, they are lying to you.
Yeah,
Yes.
let them know about Blue Men Group then. So
Tell them to subscribe.
yeah, it's a new pod. Okay, so the last tip here is also spread out showers and laundry loads. And
Right.
there's a little sub tip here. Consider showering with your whole family as just kind of a thing after dinner. Make it a
Mega
new
efficient.
Yeah, make it a new holiday tradition where you all get in there, scrub off all the food that's all over your disgusting bodies, and that's something that we can all do, and do your laundry together as well. You do your mom's, and your moms will do yours. Just everybody share, and that's what the
holidays
are
really
about.
all about. Yeah.
That's right. So thank you so much, Roto-Rooter, for sponsoring today's episode. John, could you please give out that phone number again?
1-800-ROTO-ROOTER. And you may be saying to yourself, that's too many numbers. The last few don't count, but do it anyways
Just
because it's part of the promo code.
just dial the damn number.
Yeah. Stop clogging your toilet and dial the damn number.
Yeah.
That's their motto, and we love them for that. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, guys, for the Big Brown of the Week.
That's also kind of like a great reset territory. Where they're like, stop flushing so much. In the future, the new economy, you're not allowed to flush as much.
Yeah, you're not going to be
you
able
know,
to.
and you'll love it. Yeah.
Okay, so before we head on out here, before we, clock out and put on our long leather trench coat, fedora, and cane, and walk out of here and go down
Take
to
off our dunce
the
caps.
post office and send out. Yeah, it's true. I've got a dunce cap on all the time. All right, so we've got the numbers dashboard here for a segment that we like to call Last Week's Numbers. For some reason, weeks is crossed out on our little itinerary here for the show, but unfortunately, guys, we're down 9% over the previous 14 days.
We will overcome.
Yeah,
We will overcome.
Listen, I'm not worried about it. I am not worried about this.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.
And can I tell you guys why I'm not necessarily worried about the 9% dip over the previous 14 days?
I would
Yeah.
love to hear any reason to make me more optimistic. I'm really
Yeah.
at the threshold here with this.
All right,
all
well,
ears.
we found out that we have one listener in Argentina. And
That's
our Argentinian friend called into the show, left a message. No, they just sent me a voice memo. And I encourage you to do so as well if you are an international listener. In fact, if you're just any sort of listener, you can say you're from anywhere. But we got this message from Argentina. and
They're
we were
they're gonna
told-
stop listening if you pronounce it like that.
Okay,
Ron.
I know. Sorry. We were told that we shouldn't worry about the numbers. Now, I just want to play this for you. And again, please send an audio message to us to let us know where you're listening. But our Argentinian listener has chimed in.
Hey, I'm Robledo Pussy, your single, your one and only Argentinian fan of the show, and I feel a responsibility comes with that, and I wanted to come on the show to state my defense, and we're gonna keep it light. I think I've talked to friends about the show. I think you guys are doing a great job, and it's just, I'm not worried about it, about the numbers. I wouldn't be so worried about it. I think in due time, people will realize what is happening here. As long as we know and we keep on doing it. So yeah, I think maybe I have led a life where I have chosen maybe the over sex and over friendships and substances over friendships, and that leaves you with an unfollowed meme account on Instagram and soon to be vanished into the metaverse along with your grandma and my grandma and everybody's grandma. So yeah, I love you.
I love you too.
I love you too.
I love you too. Thank you, Rollo. Man, I'm feeling so much better about the numbers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it
I
feels
don't-
like there's just been a whole weight lifted off of me about the numbers. Although
To be
now
honest-
I'm very worried about the metaverse again. And
to
my
be
grandma.
to be honest, listening to that message, it gave me so much hope for the show and for all of us, you dear listeners as well. It filled my heart with happiness.
Yes. And we would like to fill specifically Devin's heart with happiness way more. So please send your audio messages to all of us. Just find me on Instagram and send me an audio message.
Send audio to any of us. Contact
Anyone of
us.
us.
If you can
Find
find
the
out how to
email.
contact us. Yeah.
There's an email associated with the account that Ron will not give us.
Yeah, because
access to, but
I still don't know
it doesn't
really
matter.
what it is.
Just send us something, and we will
Find us on
1,000,000% play it on the show.
Yes, we will 1,000,000,000%.
Anything.
Please
Yeah.
send us some audio. We would love to play it on the show. Devin, John, thank you so much for joining me today. This was a lot of fun.
My
and
pleasure.
I hope to see you guys next week. And listener, you have a great week as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.